Welcome to Downloadable Content. We are SJ.
And Alex Herschel. We have a lot of gaming news for you today.
Let's get right into it.
Herschel.
Alex, how are you?
I'm alright. How are you?
Good, but tired. But these things we're going to talk about do excite me.
Right.
Yeah.
There's quite a bit. And today we actually don't even have a question of the week. We don't really have any updates outside of what we're talking about today, except I actually have one, but you have one as well, so you go first.
I do. Okay. Have you heard of the game called Dragon Quest XI?
I have.
Have you ever played a Dragon Quest game?
I have not.
It was on sale.
How much?
$25, including tax. 40% off. And there was a demo. So I download the demo. I play the demo. I'm like 9 hours into the demo. I don't know when the demo ends. The demo is so big. The time to buy the game on sale, was expiring. So I was like, well, I'm enjoying it so far. So I just bought it. So I'm playing through Dragon Quest, and it's a traditional JRPG, which is what I've been looking to do on the Steam Deck. So it is like filling that gap so perfectly well, because I can pick it up and play it for a little bit, and it has like a pretty good autosave function. So, I could even play it for just like 15 minutes, grind a little bit, put it away. Pretty interesting story, actually. And the art style is beautiful. It's amazing looking.
Did you know that the average time to beat that game's story is 120 hours?
That's what I hear.
And so you just
it's
bought a 200-hour game.
I am doing the side quests. I don't know if I'll do every single one, but yeah. Well, good. Considering, on the cover art you see the whole cast, right? The whole party. And I've only... Sorry, I'm just turning up our volume here. I've only gotten the main guy and another guy. I only have two guys, and I'm almost 10 hours in. So
well, there you go.
But anyway, I'll talk about that more another time. I've been enjoying it so far.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
What's your update?
So I actually have two. Well, it's two updates rolled into one. PlayStation's State of Play was a while ago, right? And they announced at the end of that State of Play that they were going to have a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth State of Play a week later.
Yes.
That State of Play has come and gone, and they have released a demo for that as well.
Did you?
And I did not play it because I decided that I'm going to wait to play the entire thing in one sitting. And I know that I do not have the time to go through that game right now, and so I have decided that I am not going to be playing the demo.
Makes sense.
The reason I bring this up is that I found out about this State of Play, or I didn't find out about the State of Play, but I actually found out that a demo for the game had been released because I was watching a YouTube video about something else, about a little known series that's not very popular. Pretty much no one has played it, called Pokemon. I was watching a Nuzlocke video from Pokemon, and I realized something in my life. I realized, last time I played Pokemon was a very, very painful defeat in my Pokemon Shield Nuzlocke run.
That was a while ago too.
It was. It was. And I decided, you know what? I need Pokemon back in my life. But I'm not getting Scarlet and Violet. You all know how much I love the Sinnoh games. And so on Friday, I am going to go purchase Pokemon Shining Pearl. I made that actual confirmation. I basically, me and my wife consult on our finances, and I basically told her, all right, all the stuff that I would normally spend on other fun things that aren't necessities for my next paycheck, nope, it's going to Pokemon because that's what I want. So I'm gonna be playing through that, and I'm really excited because I love the Sinnoh games. I have my team planned out already, and
Yep.
I am ready to go, and I really need it. So
That's exciting, man. That's exciting. I'm curious if it was not a Sinnoh remake.
mm-hmm.
Like, I guess, how much of your decision to buy Shining Pearl
Mm-hmm.
was because it was Shining Pearl versus because you don't want to buy Gen 9 in its buggy state?
That's a great question. I'm not entirely sure. I think I actually could have been convinced to buy quite a few different remakes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, say that they hadn't remade Alpha and Sapphire when they did for the 3DS years ago, and say that that was like the most recent remake, I would have considered buying that.
Yeah.
If there was a Black and White remake, I would have considered buying that. I might have even considered X and Y because I've never really actually played through those games.
It's too easy.
But that's kind of where it is. So because it is Sinnoh, I think that made it so automatic of a decision.
Right.
But I do think that sooner or later I would have just wanted a Pokemon game anyway.
Yeah.
And would have gone to some pretty lengthy reaches to try to find and fill that hole in my soul.
I guess it's a good thing it's a Sinnoh remake.
I love Sinnoh so much, man.
Yeah. I did really enjoy the mining. I put a lot of hours into that as a kid. I enjoyed that.
I just, you know how sometimes you're just going and you think back on like the games that you played as a kid. Like, I think Pokemon was the first game that like I really didn't need help understanding. Like, I put so much time into my copy of Pearl and then into my copy of Heart Gold and then borrowing my brother's version of Platinum. Like, I just played that era of Pokemon so much, and I love it so much. So I am really excited to revisit it.
As much as I, say that I don't love Diamond and Pearl so much, it's only when I look at it from the critical lens of what I like right now, you know? So, like, in the moment, as a kid, when I was playing that game, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And that is probably one of the ones that has the most hours of all the ones that I played. So, it's, I guess, like, it's a good reminder that it's easy to, like, sit here and criticize games and stuff, but so much of it is, at the end of the day, are you having a great experience, And if you are, then just play it. I mean, that's the kind of sentiment that I've heard from a lot of people that have played even like Violet and Scarlet, people that aren't as picky about technical stuff. And I talked to a couple of my friends when I went over to Japan earlier last year, and they're like, honestly, I just want to play Pokemon, and I played it and had a great time. I didn't have any issues. And it's like, oh, good for you,
And I just remembered actually that I have one other thing we need to talk about.
Okay.
Eastward Octopia is out, and I have it and have been playing that. Yeah.
Good.
It's good. So it's a farming simulator. And at the very beginning, they're like, this is a parallel universe to the story that you already know. So I've really enjoyed seeing characters that I know and that played very specific roles in the original story coming. Because it's not just a farming simulator. Like Sam and John, the main characters, they move to this place to, like, yes, they have a little plot of land that they farm and stuff.
So it's not an integral part of the main story.
I mean, it's like no. Yeah, it's a spin-off. It's its own self-contained story.
Okay.
But within that, like, yeah, they're like living self-sufficiently and farming and stuff. What they're actually doing is they bought this plot of land that houses this rundown amusement park. And so they're working on like getting tourism back up and trying to get people to come back so they can kind of reinvest and renovate this land. And as a Disney Parks fan, the idea of running and being in charge of an amusement park is very attractive to me. And the fact that I'm doing it in Eastward is also very attractive to me. But it's not... The one problem I have with it is that it isn't very gripping. It's not like Stardew Valley where the mechanics... like, for one, like the time of day, like your time cycle is a lot shorter in Stardew Valley, so it's harder to feel like you can be really productive over the cycle of a day. Mm-hmm. So it just isn't very hooking.
Wait, so you're saying that it's shorter than Stardew Valley?
Yeah. Like in Stardew Valley, the span of a day is like 20 to 30 minutes.
Because even Stardew Valley is not... it's not super long.
No.
No. Good balance.
But in Eastward, like a day is like 10 minutes. So the time just moves super fast. So it's like after farming and stuff, like you don't have a lot of time to run around and talk to people before you need to get back and go to sleep. So it's not quite as engaging as it could be.
I would not... I don't think I'd enjoy that. I'd feel rushed every day.
Right. And that's one of the sentiments that I've kind of seen online. But I've also seen opposite things where they're like, this is... like people who enjoy the original game really, really enjoy the DLC as well. So I'm encouraged to keep going just to kind of see what happens with the characters.
It's not like a super long thing anyway, right? So
no. Yeah. But I think it'll be something that's just kind of taken in pieces in transitions between games and stuff. Like, I don't think I'm going to sit down and play through the entirety of it in a go. Yeah. But I will be working on that this year. So you already know that Sam's going to win Best Protagonist 3 years in a row at our Game of the Year this year.
Everyone's like, when are you going to stop talking about Eastward? Like, please shut up about Eastward.
So there you go. So, we ready to move into our main topics today?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it.
So, I'll start us off. Guys, you've seen them online, and we're going to talk about it here just because I kind of want to address some of it. The Nintendo Switch 2 rumors.
The Super Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, we both think the Super Nintendo Switch.
Easily.
I will give credit to Nintendo Voice Chat. That's IGN's podcast. That is the first place where I heard the name.
Oh yeah, I didn't
come out.
I heard it from other.
So I will give that group credit.
I didn't come up with it.
Yeah. But so the rumors that I've heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, it is supposed to have NVIDIA's DLSS to some extent, which is basically, think of it like an AI upscaling thing. So, even if the hardware is only able to output at, say, 800p, maybe the AI will upscale it to 1080p without losing frame rate, something like that. It just makes it look better with AI. That would be great because I firsthand know how powerful DLSS can be. It's fantastic technology. It is supposed to be backwards compatible. I hope it is. That would be really cool.
I think if they don't do backwards compatibility, they're missing out on that'll be a huge bummer and a huge detractor for...
It will be a bummer, especially for like a handheld. I mean, just I hope they do what they did to the 3DS, right? Like where you can still put in DS cartridges, but the 3DS cartridge just has a notch or something, so you can't put it into the regular DS. That would be a very easy, great solution, I think.
Right, and I mean, Nintendo has a history of their backwards compatibility, right? Like the original DSs could do Game Boy Advance games.
Yep.
The Wii could do GameCube games. The Wii U could do Wii games. So, and like the fact that from these rumors that I've heard, like they're definitely sticking with the cartridge that they already have. Like it's not going to be a major change on the cartridge that physical games come on.
That's what I hear too.
So if they have the same cartridge but they just say, sorry, no backwards compatibility, like what a waste.
Right. I mean, the only console I can think of, the only modern console I can think of that did not have backwards compatibility from Nintendo was the Switch, and that's because you can't put discs in the Switch.
Right, completely
so you can't
different
play Wii U
format,
games.
right?
Yeah. That would be cool. I do wonder, are the Joy-Cons here to stay? I think they are here to stay in the sense that we're still going to have detachable controllers. I believe that. Or is it going to be the exact same thing, or are they going to change it somehow?
I think they changed it a little bit. I think they all right, they're a little small in like every way, right? The controllers themselves, the buttons, the joysticks, it's all just a little bit too small. This one's rumored to be a bit more powerful. So if it's going to be more powerful, it's got to be a little bit bigger, right? So why not take advantage of that necessity and say, all right, how can we make the controller itself more convenient and just upgrade it to be a little bit more comfortable in your hands?
I agree. That would be great. But then I'm assuming that those wouldn't be compatible with the regular Switches and vice versa, right? Do you think they'd have different mounts altogether? Or would they make it so that you can still use, either or? Because it would be cool if the mounts were all the same, like the rails were. So you could still use your existing Joy-Cons that you've invested money into for like extra controllers.
Right.
Who knows? But
I think that's probably unlikely.
Yeah.
Like I don't...
Yeah, that would mean that the shell of the new Switch would have to have the same dimensions, basically.
Right.
And that would be pretty constricting.
And not only that, like, just from console to console outside of Nintendo, like, you could... I mean, I guess maybe what they could do is they could find a way to just connect Joy-Cons
through Bluetooth.
wirelessly, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think they can make it so that you can attach it in the same way that on a Wii, right, you could plug in your GameCube controller, but not all games were able to use a GameCube controller. I guess that's not a great comparison, because I'm sure Nintendo could find a way to make the old Joy-Cons work for everything. But just there are certain limitations where they're not perfect replacements, right? But still usable. So
that would be pretty cool. Just for the love of all good things, just please fix the sticks, man. Just don't make us go through Joy-Con drift again, because oh my word, that's just
right.
I've gone through that, so
right. No, and I
don't know anybody that has never gotten Joy-Con drift. Have you never gotten drift?
Not on the Switch that I have now. But it's only been active for 18 months, so I don't know if that's
true. That's true. And you're not playing it in handheld all the time. Do you play it in handheld often?
It's gotten a lot of handheld use.
Okay.
Especially since I've been married.
Good,
like
then.
Liv played almost all of Xenoblade on in handheld mode, and she has like 150 hours.
Oh, dang.
And then when I was in the Netherlands playing through Tears of the Kingdom, that's like 100 hours on
Gotcha.
handheld mode. But I wouldn't be surprised if here and then also, but when we are playing on the TV, we both have pro controllers, so that probably adds to like their endurability, right? They
now
aren't
that
being
I think
used
about
constantly.
it too, it wasn't until a while later that I started getting drift.
Right.
I had it for well over I want to say like at least a couple of years until I started getting Drift.
Yeah.
So, anything else there? I guess we'll see what happens, right? I really think we're gonna get a Direct this month. I really do. February is a pretty common time to get a Nintendo Direct. And hopefully we get some of these news, but
Right.
Nintendo's been pretty silent.
And I think even when we get the Direct this year, I think the Switch still comes within 2024 because the original Switch was announced was given a formal announcement in October of 2016 and was then released on March 3rd.
Yeah, less than 12 months later.
So I think that we get a Direct and they roll it out so that they can have a few months before the Christmas season to kind of work out their kinks, but then really hit it hard with the Christmas season when all those sales come in for the holidays and stuff.
That would be great. If the console release date was like September or something,
Right.
then the first wave of Switch 2 stocks they're all gonna be sold out, obviously. But by the time it comes around to Christmas, all the moms and dads will have plenty of stock to work with to buy for their kids.
And then think about this. As far as the games that they're launching with, it's not going to be Mario. They're going to launch the Switch 2 with Metroid Prime 4. Okay? That's going to be their major release. They'll have a couple other games.
Do you think
from
it'll be a
small
cross
studios.
release on the regular Switch as well?
I think they kind of have to.
Because they announced it for the regular Switch, right? It's like a Cyberpunk 2077 situation.
Right. I think they have to.
It'll just
I think it's
different graphical levels or
because
whatever.
I think like with the Metroid Prime remastered that was released for the Switch, people are like, this is the best looking game on the Switch. So if Metroid Prime 4 looks and runs like that on the original Switch and then is upscaled for the new one,
right?
I think that's fine, right?
Yeah.
So they have that, a couple other smaller games, maybe like a Mario Party or something for the rollout. And then like late November, early December is when they release 3D Mario. Tell me that is not a perfect plan. Oh, he doesn't think it's perfect. Hit me with it.
So, I think they need a Mario this year before Christmas.
How soon before Christmas?
Like, it could be a couple weeks before Christmas. That would be fine,
Okay.
I think. I think... I don't know, but ideally longer before that, because you'd want time for kids to get hyped for the new Switch and a reason to buy the new Switch. And the Metroid fan base is big, but it's on the niche side in terms of first-party Nintendo games. So I don't think it'll be a huge reveal for the general casual audience coming out with Metroid. Although I do think that will be one of its launch games. I wonder if it's possible for it to launch with a new 3D Mario and Metroid. Is that
I think
too
that's
much?
possible. No. I think
maybe
that's
like a November
fine.
release for the 3D Mario?
I wonder because like I think if you release with it, or if there's too much of a gap between the launch and the Christmas season and there isn't a major game specifically for the holiday season, like I don't know how much that would impact it.
Right. You don't want the hype to die down.
Right.
Yeah.
Like there
For
needs
sure.
to at least be something steady keeping it up. And who knows? I mean, they could come out with a Mario Kart. They could say, "Hey, we basically developed an entire game for the Switch that just barely finished being released a few months ago, but we've
That
also
was a
secretly
Wii
been
U
working
game."
on Mario Kart 9. So here you go." I don't know. All I'm saying is that if I don't know.
I think no matter how we spin it, Nintendo needs Mario for this new game. Mario or Zelda. You need one or the other. Something new, not a remake.
And it needs to be there at launch.
Maybe not launch day. Maybe if like launch day you get, a few third-party games, and then and Metroid is the big Nintendo first-party one. I think that's fine. But I think between that and Christmas, I think you need
There
a
needs to be
Mario
another.
or
Okay.
Zelda or something.
I think that's fine.
And a Zelda remake would be pretty cool. Yeah. Wind Waker,
Well,
TP, Twilight Princess, not toilet paper.
the full Ocarina of Time remake that's being rumored around.
Wait, that's being rumored around?
Like from the ground up Ocarina of Time remake. I've talked to you about this. Did I? Okay. That's something that's gaining like a lot of steam.
Well, I thought I heard that like forever ago, but I hadn't heard anything else on it, so I just wrote it off.
Because Nintendo wants something Zelda every single year.
Right.
We don't have any announcements for anything right now. But can you imagine they come out with a new Switch and they say, hey, Ocarina of Time, fully rebuilt. Here you go. That's an instant record-breaking launch day. Instant.
I would get a home equity loan on my house if I had to.
You go into the bank, look, I need a $570 loan. I don't care how you give it to me. That's what I need, okay? I will take out a second mortgage to do this.
Man, I really hope that is real and happens. I've just been wanting that for so long.
Right. And as a resident Zelda fan who thinks that Ocarina of Time is overloved, that would be a day one buy. Like, I would pre-order that the second it was announced. Because can you imagine? Nintendo hasn't missed in years. Can you imagine?
I honestly can't. I honestly can't. Because, like, it's one of those things, It's kind of like Sora and Smash. Like, it's something that I've been wanting for so long, and it's just that it just doesn't feel realistic anymore. It's unreachable. It's all the way to the moon. But then sometimes Nintendo manages to do those things that just brings the moon right to your front doorstep, and there you go. You've got Sora and Smash, But I don't want to let that be a reason to get my expectations high, because that's when I get disappointed. So
Fair enough.
We'll see what happens. It's exciting regardless.
Yeah, definitely.
Next one?
Yeah, so moving on to our next topic. Xbox is rumored to just finally, they've been saying they've been losing the console war for like a year now. And a lot of people are saying they're just throwing the towel in because Xbox is reportedly just giving their console exclusives to PlayStation. And okay, I should clarify that. Not giving it to them, but also releasing their games that are touted as Xbox exclusives and giving them releases on the PS5 as well. Now, I have some thoughts about this.
Yeah.
I think you have a lot of thoughts about this, and
Yeah.
I think we have very, very different thoughts about this. So how about you go first, and we'll see kind of where this goes.
Okay. First of all, a lot of Xbox fans are upset. A lot of people that don't care for the console wars or whatever are gonna say, why are you being so mad? Everybody's getting these games, and why are you mad that more people are gonna be able to play these games? I get that. The thing, though, to remember is that inherently not having as many exclusives just inherently devalues the console, right? The main reason why you pick one console over another, the primary reasons are, one, where are your friends at? And two, and I think these are equally important ones, if not the second one is more important, which is, okay, which games can you play on said console? And, eventually Xbox, if all of Xbox's exclusives go to PlayStation, there will be no reason to buy an Xbox over a PlayStation, unless there's some something crazy that they do. So I can understand the frustration of longtime Xbox fans. With that said, and to be clear, I'm really not in either camp, right? Like, I'm a PC gamer. I like Nintendo consoles. If I had to pick, I'd choose PlayStation. But I appreciate Xbox. There's some good games, They're cool. I've owned both. So,
like, how much Halo have you played, right? Like,
I've played so much. I'm actively playing Halo right now with a buddy of mine.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
I mean, I like Xbox, right? But I believe that Xbox as a console is not doing as well as Microsoft needs it to. And I think this to me signals the I think we are starting to see the Xbox fade away. I don't think the Xbox is going to stick around if they lose their exclusives. And I believe that Phil Spencer probably thinks that the benefit of getting more sales from additional platforms like PlayStation is going to outweigh the benefit of keeping exclusives and hope that more people buy Xboxes.
Right.
I think that's where we're at. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Xbox brand doesn't exist in, 8 years. But, yeah, I do know that they talked about the next Xbox console as well. And that might be the last. I don't know.
So I think we're actually a bit more on the same page than we think. I actually think that this is probably the best move for Xbox to make. Recently, a report came out that the PS5 has outsold Xbox's Series X's and Series S's 2-1. And PS5s were much harder to get outside of scalpers than Xboxes ever were. There were shortage problems on both sides, but you could not find PS5s anywhere, and Xbox was able to get restocked quicker. And even with that, Sony has sold more PlayStations 2-1 than Xbox has. I think this is kind of similar to the situations we saw back before Xbox was a big thing, right? Like, Sega used to make consoles, right? And then they withdrew from the console space and are now just software developers. And from what I've understand and the documents that I've read on it, like, that's been a smarter financial move for them. They were able to invest more in the games themselves, not having to worry about competing for sales on consoles as well. Because gamers only have so much money to spend, right? And so if you eliminate the things that you're taking a loss on and instead focus on the things that can be profitable and historically have stayed profitable for your company, like, it makes sense to kind of bow out of the hardware aspect. Because, Microsoft made a sizable investment into studios recently with purchasing Bethesda.
They bought a lot over the last few years.
Blizzard, Activision, like, that's not going away. And they can retain that, but instead, all they need to worry about is making games. They don't also need to be, well, what other studio, like, even with that, right, they're still not selling enough consoles to justify that. So what if they just stop trying and say, okay, instead, all the budget that's going into that, let's just make more games for the companies that we own. Let them do that. Let them do what they do best and actually stay in the game. Because they talk about themselves like, yeah, we're out. Like, we can't compete anymore. And I think this is a way to stay in the video game space, not waste that investment they've made, while also delivering to those longtime fans at least the experiences that they will continue to want, even if the hardware isn't there anymore. And I completely agree that it sucks, because like, it sucks from a perspective of someone who may have been an Xbox person for so long and has bought these consoles and tried to support it, and then just kind of realizing that in the long run, like, that time is over. I can see why that would be hard. But
at the end of the day, it's competition, right? It's the name of the game, and competition is what makes games great. And I would feel sad, I think, if Nintendo had to do this at some point in their lifetime. You know, I don't foresee that coming. But if they did, I would be a little upset, you know, for sure.
Definitely.
But I think the one thing that I'm afraid of, and I do agree, I think we're both on the same page in terms of what we think Microsoft is doing here. We both think that the Xbox, in terms of the plastic thing that you put in your entertainment center, is probably going away eventually. It would give PlayStation a near monopoly on the high-end home console gaming space, because I do not see Nintendo competing in terms of hardware. They've focused on that a couple of times, but that hasn't worked out for them in the past, and I don't think they will start doing that again. So without Xbox as a competitor for hardware, future PlayStations are going to be astronomically expensive. That's what I'm afraid of. You know, and if PlayStation is where all of the, you know, demanding game titles end up going to in the future, and then PlayStation can just charge so much money to the developers, right? Because that's the only platform that they've got to work with, that'll accommodate, that has the hardware that they're looking for in terms of power, not Nintendo. I don't know. I just hope that Sony doesn't take full advantage of that, because I could totally see them screwing people over.
Right, and I think that's a reasonable thing, but I also think there's reason to be hopeful that won't even be the scenario once Microsoft exits, right? Because like video games before, it was arcades, right? And then home consoles came, and Nintendo and Atari did their thing. And then Atari kind of bowed out, and Sega jumped in. And then at the end of Sega's lifespan, that's when Sony comes up. And then a generation later, it's Xbox. And so I think just because Microsoft steps out, I don't think that necessarily automatically means Sony has that monopoly. If Sony's left alone, then yeah, that's going to develop. But I mean, I think there are, like, I wouldn't be surprised if Amazon tries to make a leap into hardware. Right, Amazon's been investing a lot in gaming. I think there are companies out there, and then you think about the not popular. No, yeah, I mean PC gaming's more popular now than it ever has been, right? Like it was super niche for a while,
right?
And nowadays, it's much more of a common way to experience gaming, and so I think video game hardware, and then bringing in like VR, I think that will continue to evolve and change. So I think it's reasonable, but I also don't know if it's like a foregone conclusion that would happen.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
But as a new PlayStation person, I really hope it doesn't, because I don't want to have to pay the extra price for Microsoft leaving. That would suck.
That's true. Because, I mean, if Microsoft didn't exist, the PlayStation 5 would be way more expensive. Like,
yeah,
maybe even double the price. Because every PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series S that they sell, it's pretty much confirmed at this point that both companies are taking a loss, and they're willing to take a loss on every sale because
of the exclusives.
They want the install base.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
So, interesting stuff. I mean, imagine playing Halo on your PS5. Starfield. Maybe not that one.
No, and I think that's something that's also weird for me, is that like all these lists of exclusives, right? They have that, they have those two, they have the new Indiana Jones game. And I'm like, honestly, like Indiana Jones is probably the one out of those three that I'd be most likely to play.
That is true, because I feel like certain gamers gravitate toward PlayStation versus Xbox. You know?
Right. PlayStation's a single player,
A
third
lot of-
person
yeah.
adventure.
Yep.
That's like their bread and butter, and people are kind of getting sick of that, but they continue to buy the games at record-breaking paces, whereas Xbox is more of a shooter and definitely has more of like a first-person type library. So, yeah.
Are there any games that are on Xbox right now that if it went to PlayStation you would play?
I can't think of any, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not interested in really playing any Bethesda games. I'm not interested in playing Halo. I'm kind of interested in this new Indiana Jones game, if I'm being honest, but that's
Indiana Jones
literally
game.
about it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Let us know your predictions.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think's going on there? Do you want to take the lead on this last one?
Disney bought Epic.
Part of it.
In reality, they made a $1.5 billion purchase to receive 9% of Epic as a company. And when I first heard about this, I was not happy at all. Because Epic isn't seen as a good company. Like, people hate Epic. Right? Like, in our own Discord, we have someone who could probably talk about this way better than I could, but he has like an extreme dislike for Epic and like doesn't want to buy things off their store.
So is that a dislike for Epic, or is that just, I don't want to deal with the Epic launcher, I want it under Steam?
Okay, I guess I can't speak for this individual, but
sure.
I know that people as a whole just like don't like Epic as a company.
Yeah, I do hear a lot of
their
dislike
like
for
business
Epic.
practices, right? Like it's like the new thing where it used to be hating on Capcom because Capcom sucked, and then Capcom figured their stuff out, and then people hated on EA, and then now EA's starting to figure it out, where instead of everything being a dumpster fire, only 50% of it is a dumpster fire.
Yeah, true.
And on the other side, they have some really, really good games, like the Star Wars games, or their EA Originals, I think is what it's called. They have like this platform that has really well-received games and stuff. Now it's really, really popular to hate on Epic. Like, people just don't like Epic. And like from the games that I've played from Epic, namely Fortnite, and that's it, I was like, this isn't the type of company that I'd really want to create games for the Walt Disney Company. But then I let it sit for a second. Other reports came out on kind of why this was what Disney chose to do. And then I got very, very excited because they have plans to use Epic to create new experiences for Disney parks. So they're looking at developing like metaverse type experiences within Disneyland, within Walt Disney World, within all the resorts around the world. And that makes me incredibly excited.
Interesting. When you say metaverse type experiences, is there any more detail behind those rumors?
No, like it's all speculative right now.
Okay.
But people point towards what Universal did with Nintendo and how the Mario Kart ride is like an AR thing, right? They're like, imagine if you expanded that to an entire section of an amusement park. Like, what could you create for them that they wouldn't experience anywhere else? And like, so from what I understand, a lot of it is like the technology that Epic's developed and like, yeah, just like their tech and utilizing that in real life experiences. And they also have plans to develop games. I'm not going to hide away from that. That doesn't make me crazy excited.
Yeah.
But there's potential there.
So what technology, and this is just my ignorance because I don't really know much about Epic aside from the fact that they made Fortnite. How would that integrate into hardware? Like, they don't have any hardware, right? So like, how would that translate to anything they could contribute to a Disney ride?
So
Or
I honestly have no idea,
Okay.
but I do know that Disney Imagineers like have been working on this type of stuff for a while, and for whatever reason felt like making this purchase into Epic would help reach that goal. And so it's less so now I'm less focused on the fact that I don't really think that Epic does anything special as a company, and more the fact that for whatever reason Disney thinks this is the best way to incorporate more unique experiences for their consumers. And in that end, I'm like, okay, I'm good with it.
I'm excited to see what they do. I wonder if we're gonna start getting more Disney games, honestly. And I think Epic's, I don't know. I mean, you look at Fortnite, right? That's their flagship game.
Right.
It's very family friendly. It's easy to jump into, and the art style is, I think, kind of in the heart of Disney, right?
Right.
In terms of just how it looks. Imagine now you get to play as Mickey Mouse running around with an assault rifle in Fortnite or something. But I think as much as I'm not a big Fortnite guy, I have to admit that they have created something special. That it's, I mean, the success of Fortnite is pretty phenomenal, and the kind of support and updates and live events and everything that it gets. I mean, Fortnite in and of itself is kind of like a little metaverse on its own.
Right.
It's not even just a survival shooter game anymore. So it is pretty impressive what they've
Right.
done. And it is cool to see, okay, what kind of things could that apply to in a Disney setting, whether a video game or their rides or whatever.
Right.
That's cool. Hopefully we get cool things out of it, and we're not just fed microtransaction Disney games.
Right. And I think about it, and I think at first I was concerned because I didn't really fully understand like what the partnership meant, because like the way I first read it was like, oh well, Disney's just going to make a lot of games through Epic now. But it's not like they're going to say, hey, we have these wildly popular Jedi games, we're just not going to make them anymore because we made a deal with Epic, right? Like pre-existing games that are Disney properties aren't going to be canceled. They're not going to cancel Kingdom Hearts 4, right? So it's like Epic's another partner that they have now, and they might, like, new projects will probably definitely come more through them. But for now, I'm just going to kind of be hopeful that there's some plan that they're keeping under wraps for now, that will make sense later, and I'm okay waiting to find out what that is.
Imagine like a Mandalorian game.
I know. Like, why are we getting
Why
Star
haven't-
Wars Outlaws this year? Why aren't we getting The Mandalorian?
Yeah, why? Oh no.
Ubisoft? Actually, it's okay because you weren't going to make a good game anyway, so...
Nope.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's about it, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool stuff. Let us know what you think of all this. A lot of exciting news and rumors. Most of these are rumors, so who knows what'll happen. The thing that I am most looking forward to right now is that Nintendo Switch Direct. It's got to be coming, man. It's got to be coming soon.
I want it.
Do you think it's coming this month? March?
Hopefully.
It has to come by the end of March.
If it doesn't come by the end of March, we're not getting it in 2024.
Well, even no. I think we'll get a Nintendo Direct no matter what.
Okay,
it may not have the Switch 2 release.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
But I think we'll get that.
Yeah. They gotta. Here's what they're gonna do. Sorry.
You're good.
They're gonna do one in a few weeks, at the end of February.
Yeah.
And all it's gonna be is Princess Peach Showtime, because that comes out in March. That's all it's gonna be about.
Can I be honest?
You're excited for it.
I kind of want to play.
I know you are.
It looks really cute. But I don't want to pay $60 for it.
Right.
I'm just not.
Right.
I'll buy it for like 20.
No, I'm with you
But it's
there.
never going to go that low.
Like, I like that it's something new, right? Like,
Yeah.
I like that. But
it does look too easy, too.
I don't want to be the one to fiscally support it, which means that it won't make enough money, which means that this will be the only time that they do something new. But no, not in reality, but yeah, we'll see where it goes.
Did you have something?
I was just going to do the wrap up.
Yep. Let's wrap up.
Thank you to our Patreon supporters. We are very grateful for you. We have Nicholas, Grandpappy, Tyler, and Joshua. You guys are amazing. And we're very grateful for your support.
We love you all. I'm just so proud of us.
Yeah.
We have a lot of episodes. You know, somebody in our family came up to me and said, "Hey, I listened to one of your episodes." She is not a gamer at all. She's like, "I didn't really understand everything, obviously, because I don't play video games, but you guys are really fun."
She shared the same sentiment with me, actually.
Yeah.
She was like, "I just like listening to you two. You guys are just fun to listen to talk." And I was like, "Oh, thanks."
It's like such a nice thing to say.
Right.
So thank you. And for the first time ever, DownNotableContent has filed its federal tax return. We did it, boys.
We did it.
We're here.
We did it.
All right. Talk to you next time.